Right, 19 April 2022, and I'm joined by my usual guest, Dr. Feddious Mutenheri. How are you, Doc?
I'm very well, Gambakwe, and it's greetings to all our viewers around the world.
Yes, my apologies for the sound quality today. I am actually having load shedding, stage 4. South Africa is in a deep state of load shedding for the past 2 days. How have you been doing, Doc?
I've been doing well. We have not seen each other in about 4 weeks, but it was good to see you shuttling between South Africa and Harare and Kariba. You went to Zambia. How has it been for you, Gambakwe? I want to hear from your perspectives on your movements.
Yeah, Doc, Zimbabwe is doing very, very well. The guys who are in the diaspora, who are not investing back in Zimbabwe, they are going in to be in a lot of trouble. There is a lot happening in Zimbabwe, especially if you look at Kariba. There is a lot of potential there. If you look at countries like Zambia, they are developing a lot in the cities. So if you are someone who is sitting, let's say in South Africa or in Botswana or in the UK, and you don't know what is happening on the ground, when you go back, eventually you're going to be shocked by what is happening over there, especially Zimbabwe. Guys are not sitting down, they are working. So all these things that you hear from the opposition, from people who are in the media, you must take it with a pinch of salt. I was in Zimbabwe. Every plane was full. There was no space to sit. I literally paid 7,000. Normally I paid 2,500 for a return flight. This time my flight was 7,000. This is how the situation is in Zimbabwe.
Wow. Okay. Quite some. Your views, and I think it's good to hear from you. If indeed things are happening, that should be plausible. But from what we hear and other reports as well, Gambakwe, we look at other challenges and say, what are the challenges then to all those who are trying to make it there? But I really appreciate your observations, and yeah, it's good to hear that.
Okay, Doc, as I said, I'm using solar. My power has been off for the past 2 hours, so I could lose power any moment. Let's go into today's topic. Let's start with the CCC. They started off a few months ago very, very strongly. We were talking about them here. Chamisa was doing well during the rallies, but suddenly everything is falling apart. The Chamisa that we know, the one who fails to set up a system, is back. Chamisa promised that he's going to set up a structure after the elections. The elections have come and gone. He's nowhere to be found. In fact, what Chamisa has now said is that he's not going to be setting up a structure. Have you seen that statement that he made?
Well, I partly saw that. I don't know if that's your question, so that I can go ahead and respond, or you want to probably proceed with your question.
Okay, I just wanted to say, do you see that? And obviously you saw that. Let's now go to the confusion with Thokozani Kupe. There has been massive confusion with the Thokozani Kupe, Dr. Thokozani Kupe. No one knows what role she's going to play. People in Bulawayo are rejecting her. So basically the coalition has collapsed. The coalition that Chamisa was trying to set up. Similarly, all of Muzuri's people, all of Monzora's people, they've gone into the CCC. There's massive confusion because now everyone who was in Monzora's party is now with Chamisa, including the leaders. And now Chamisa doesn't seem to know what to do with all these people that have come to him. Do you understand the gravity of this problem, Doc?
Okay, Gambako, I had to start with a laugh because I think the way you I would want to say the way sometimes I think you go on to exaggerate, I should think, and sometimes sensationalize, get us to miss the point. But anyway, before I respond to you, it would be amiss, Gambakwe, for you and I, and particularly for me, not to mention a big activity yesterday. And yesterday was Zimbabwe celebrated 42 years of independence. And I think it is only apt that we wish all Zimbabweans, wherever they might be, a very, very happy Independence Day yesterday. And there were celebrations all around. Having said that, though, I would also want to say it was very encouraging to see that the CCC of Nelson Chamisa sent envoys, and particularly represented by its chief administrator in the form of Mr. Wende, and we saw the mayor of Harare, Jacob Mafume, who are actually high-ranking officials of the CCC, which actually makes a statement about the CCC that they have, as they start their new political party, grabbed that opportunity and that the independence of Zimbabwe cannot be a partisan celebration, cannot be a partisan issue. And seeing them there, it means that they are making a bold statement that the same independence that you know, ZANU-PF has tried to sequestrate, ZANU-PF has tried to confiscate to themselves, ZANU-PF has tried actually to impound to themselves. It's actually for all of us, because all of us, our parents, our forebears.
Right, Doc, I think I've lost you, and it's very unfortunate if I've lost you, or if it's me who's lost. I don't know who between the two of us is not online. The big problem we have is
that's well done. Can you hear me, Gambakwe?
Okay, we lost you there. We lost you, and now you're back.
Okay, so I was saying that was a bold statement that the CCC made, that they have taken that space, which is rightfully theirs, just like any other Zimbabwean, and cannot let ZANU-PF confiscate it to themselves. Having said that, about the independence, I should say that, however, the promise of independence, the promise of Uhuru, is still a hollow dream. The promise of Uhuru, as we speak, Gambakwe, in as much as you were painting a picture of full aeroplanes, obviously by the elite, by people obviously like yourself who can afford to take a flight, because we have seen how people are struggling with transport. With this Zupco, I mean, few months ago we saw pictures of Zupco with leaking water during the rainy season. We have seen the resuscitation of the railway.
Okay, I don't think today we're going to have a good day. We keep losing the dock, or I keep losing the network. I don't know which is which. I don't know whose side is losing the network. Let's see if we can take a break while the doctor comes back.
Saying that that promise of Uhuru, the promise of independence, it seems to be a pipe dream. Like I was giving you examples of the Smith regime railway system, or the trains being used and the majority of Zimbabweans getting stranded. We see the education system is in a crisis because teachers are more often on strike there than they are in classrooms. We see that the health sector is actually in ICU itself, that no one can attend to it because doctors are always on strike, nurses are always on strike, and there's a huge brain drain in that sector.
Okay, Doc, I can't hear you properly. I'm losing sound.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, let's
uyo uko kuno apo pano.
Right, Doc, I think today we're not going to be having a good day because obviously I've got load shedding here and my network is not going to work. It's terrible here. And I think the point that the Doc was trying to make is obviously clear. He is saying that there's a lot of things going wrong in Zimbabwe. Whereas the point I'm making is that Chamisa, when we started off at the beginning of this year, he promised a lot. He went to these rallies and he looked like a popular person and he looked like an organized person. But as we speak, the CCC has become nothing. There's no party, there's no leadership structure, there's no program, there's no plan. This is the usual problem that Nelson Chamisa has got. He promises a lot, but when it comes to deliver, Chamisa cannot deliver at all. And this is where the point I was trying to make, that Chamisa is always promising a lot, but when it comes to delivery, he falls short, especially on administration. Chamisa's biggest problem is administration. He cannot form an organization. He cannot form a system. This is where Chamisa is going to be undone. No matter what Chamisa does on the stage, when it comes to setting up an organization, he always fails. Doc, let's wrap this up. I don't think we're going to have a good day today because of this load shedding. We've got stage 4, which means every day I'm having at least 4 hours or 5 hours of load shedding. What do you say, given the problems that I've given you? Chamisa failing to set up a party, Chamisa failing to set up a structure, Chamisa failing to set up a program, Chamisa failing to set up a coalition, and failing to control people under him. All the people that have been elected MPs, they've just disappeared. Do you see any prospects for the CCC?
Okay, Gambakwe, as you rightly say, and it's very sad that the angle in which I wanted to tackle our question today might be disturbed by the fact that our internet is not well. But the picture you paint, Gambakwe, seems to be very far from the reality. Rather, it is a very fictitious picture about the CCC. I remember just 2 months ago, let me just revisit your topic, which I think is not based on truth and fact, because when you say Chamisa CCC loses steam, particularly yourself, Gambakwe, I would ask you a question: which steam are you talking about? Because as far as we have had our conversations, you have never seen any steam in the CCC. But I'm not talking about you per se, but you know, those out there who underestimated Nelson Chamisa's planning, strategic leadership, saw him as someone who did not have a plan, who did not have a strategy, in the face of what we saw happening to his former political party, the MDC Alliance. Now, what did he do? Come the 26th, In fact, on the 24th of January 1st, he shocked and astounded many when he announced a new political party and let go of the MDC alliance, which I think for me was a surprise, but a very strategic move. A few months down the line, in fact, exactly 2 months down the line, on the 26th of March, during those by-elections, he literally pulled the rug out of those who thought had the support of the people. And the Triple C today sits comfortably with 18 seats out of the 29 that were contested. And for me, that is where the host team started to build up. It started to build up that today the Triple C, a party that has 2 months, which is 2 months old, has a very vociferous representation in the Parliament of Zimbabwe. That is the team I see, Gambakwe. And what do I see? I see a panicking ZANU-PF, even stooping very low through its Speaker of Parliament to even ban, and unconstitutionally so, the wearing of various colors, which are not even party symbols, but simply because they are scared of the yellow revolution and what it represents, and the whirlwind with which it has taken over Zimbabwe. I see that steam building up, Gambakwe. What do I see, Gambakwe? I see a very unsettled and nervous ZANU-PF, which does not know, because after the acid test that the by-election gave, it shows that it does not have any chance at a competitive election with the Triple C. For me, if you ask me, that is the steam I see. What steam do I see? I see Nelson Chamisa and his political party, gathering momentum, that Dr. Thokozani Kupe has decided that let me join whatsoever, because he realizes that it is a citizen movement, and it is not up to Chamisa, because they have formed a political party for the citizens. And the joining of Dr. Thokozani Kupe, you watch the space, does not at all give Nelson Chamisa sleepless nights. If anything, he is having the last laugh, because it is the very people that we are talking about who will know where to put Dr. Thokozani Kupe when the time comes. Now, you talk about Mudzuri and other senior members of the MDC Alliance joining Chamisa, and you want to paint a picture that Nelson Chamisa therefore doesn't know what to do. Kambakwe, I wonder where that kind of analysis is coming from. If anything, Nelson Chamisa is showing that he is the leader that can bring all sorts of people, bad apples, good apples, because it's a citizen coalition. You've got the bad and the good. But when the time comes for the sorting of the good and the bad, it shall come to be. Like I told you in one of our broadcasts, that Zimbabweans cannot be taken for granted. They know how to push those that do not deserve their vote. And that time shall come. And that is not Chamisa's problem. Advocate Chamisa's Triple C is a train that is on the move. And those who will not jump onto it will lose. These people you are talking about who are jumping onto the bandwagon is because they realize that if we miss the chance to jump onto it, we have lost. So for Nelson Chamisa, what I can say is that he's having a last laugh. In fact, his train is moving on. We have said this before, Gambakwe, that wait and see. People know their leaders. Nelson Chamisa, in fact, is proving to be an unassailable a statesman, a leader, that even those who yesteryear tried to pull him down, they realize that he is the best foot forward that the Zimbabweans have chosen. So you are talking here about whether Chamisa is failing to make a structure. And I
Okay, I think we've lost Doc again. And as I mentioned, this is going to be quite a hectic day. Our whole load shedding here is at another level. Are you hearing me, Doc? Okay, so I think basically what we need to do is let's try to give Doc a chance to summarize and wrap up, because I've said a lot. And I know Chamisa's people know this. There's serious commotion and confusion in the CCC. The party is directionless, it's leaderless, it's got no plan. And this is something that we predicted, that Chamisa's biggest weakness is failure to set up a system. There is no system that is been set up. CCC is just a name and the color yellow and Chamisa, nothing else. And this is what is causing us so many issues in Zimbabwe, that we've got an opposition that is just made up of an individual and with no ideology. If you see what Chamisa has done with dialogue, it's so confusing. He does not seem to know whether he wants to talk to President Mnangagwa or to accept him or not. He said he wants to attend independence celebrations. Yesterday, everyone knew that Chamisa was going to attend. Then he pulls back. So it's going to be total chaos for the guys in CCC, and I see a lot of infighting starting again very, very soon. So unfortunately, Doc is not able to rejoin. You can see that he's dark. He's not there. This is because the connection between Botswana and South Africa under these conditions is almost impossible. So what I would do is I'll bring this to an end. Yeah, if Doc doesn't join in the next second or two, and then we'll try to get him again next week. Doc, you really have to summarize now.
Yes.
You really have to summarize, because if you don't summarize this moment, you won't have a chance to say your last word.
No, I think
Yeah.
I think I've been having. I think the problem is solved. I seemed to identify what the problem is. But Gambakwe, let me just say, let's like I said, Advocate Nelson Chamisa needs to be given a chance, and by critics. But even if they were not to give him a chance, what it has shown, what the political terrain has shown, and what Zimbabweans have always been good at, is to show where their loyalties are. And they have shown that they have more trust in Advocate Nelson Chamisa. I have no doubt that with the events you are talking about of Dr. Thokozani Kupe joining the CCC, of Mudzuri, if it is true that he is joining, and many others, I think this is just a start. I think as we go towards the Watershed 2023, we will see a huge movement has never been seen before. Because if you can look at just the body language of Advocate Nelson Chamisa, is that of a person that is ready to lead the country. He shows maturity of a statesman, unlike those today that are in state power, who border on trivialities, who border on on peril, a kind of activities, actions, and even words. Advocate Nelson Chamisa has shown to be a solid, mature, and a ready leader to lead Zimbabwe into the future. This generation you see of ZANU-PF today is of the world of the old that definitely has no clue. Neither do they have the ideas nor the strategy to take Zimbabwe out of the morass, out of the crisis it is. So, in fact, to just summarize from your topic, which says Chamisa's CCC loses steam, in fact, it is the opposite, Gambakwe. This is actually, I would say it is a mischievous topic, which does not at all tell us which steam has he lost, because in any case, no one gave him the the chance. No one gave the CCC a chance. And yet they have proved to everybody that they are the game in town. There is no steam.
Okay, Doc, I get that point. Let me take you to the points that I made. One, there is no structure. Chamisa promised during his rallies that he will appoint a structure, that he will go out and ask members of the CCC to choose their leaders. That's a promise. He did not fulfill that promise. Chamisa is sitting in his office, back at work. He works. He's back at work right now, hearing cases, writing court papers, instead of setting up the structure of the CCC. Secondly, there's confusion, massive confusion in the CCC. He doesn't know what to do with Monzora's people who have come, Mudzuri's people who have come, Kupe's people who have come. He does not know what to do with those people. They are causing massive confusion as we speak. What Chamisa now has is the MDCT inside. The confusion that was in MDCT is now in CCC. All the people that were fighting, they're now fighting within his party. Then, thirdly, he's got no clue how to deal with dialogue, the way forward. That is the steam that I'm talking about. Right now, people like BT, people like Mutenheri, they've just gone away. They're not doing anything. They're not saying anything because they've got no position in the party. This is the steam that I'm talking about.
Well, again, you apologize to me if I make another laugh, a derisive laugh, because Gambakwe, what is in a structure? I would ask.
He is the one who promised it. He is the one who promised. We didn't promise him.
Timeline, but he didn't give a timeline. We are just less than 2 weeks, 3 weeks from the previous election, and yes, no, and in politics, you cannot say he has delayed or he is failing to do something. And by the way, when they formed the CCC, no one thought that they would spring up that new development. They have decided, and we've heard them say that whenever they want to make a strategic move, they are not going to bring it out to the media. For instance, what Gambakwe, you are doing right now, it is to create a crisis which is not there in the CCC, because as far as we are concerned, or any right-thinking Zimbabwean is concerned, there is no crisis at all. There is no loss of steam. There are caretaker leaders in the CCC, and those caretaker...
Okay, who is the vice president now? Who is the caretaker vice president?
There are 3 caretaker vice presidents as far as we know. Like we said, and no one doesn't dispute the fact that the CCC as we know it is led by those who yesterday were being decimated by the judiciary, on the basis of that lockdown Supreme Court decision. And we all know that that whole team which was running the MDC alliance, for strategic purposes, they went on to form the CCC, and they are holding forth as caretaker leaders. And there is no confusion there. There is no confusion there.
Okay, where is the constitution? Doctor, where is the constitution?
Gambakwe, how did they get into an election? How did they register with the ZEC if they did not have a constitution? You know very well that ZEC...
Because you don't need to register. You don't need to register. You just need to say you're going to contest the election.
Yeah, not necessarily registration, but I'm talking about getting into that election. You very well know that ZEC needs a constitution. It needs all those things, symbols that are, for a particular political party, which tells us that it is there. But at the right time, it will be a release to the people. Gambakwe, let's not even create a fake crisis here on our broadcast. One thing I can tell you is that President Nelson Chamisa has got his eyes on the ball. And we saw this playing out on the 26th of March when he managed to pull out those votes in that election. And so And so forget about what the crisis you are creating yourself here, that because there is no structure, that structure will come. And there is no rule of thumb that says that that structure should have been there today. Like I've given you an example of the MDC when it was formed. The Workers' Convention was held in February of 1999. But when was the party launched? With a leadership that was clear. It was launched on the 11th, if I'm not mistaken, of September of the same year, which was well 6-7 months down the line. And look how formidable that party was. Give them time. They need, in fact, to support that point. They do not need that structure now when these confusionists, the likes of Dr. Thokozani Kupe, because listen, in as much as I appreciate and I accept that Dr. Thokozani Kupe has a right to join any political party of a choice, it is very well known what confusion, what pain she caused to the MDC family, what pain she caused, and what disruption she caused to the alternative. And people still have that in their minds. And when the right time comes, she will be shown her position. The same applies with these other people from the Mudzuris of this world and stuff like that. Let them have their time to show what confusionists they are. And I would, in fact, if I was now to advise Advocate Nelson Chamisa, I would say it is exactly the right time to postpone and drag even a Congress and drag the formation of those structures, because right now the dust is in the air. Right now the hawks are waiting to pounce on this new baby. Right now the infiltrators are waiting to get into it. And I think, as mature as he has shown Advocate Nelson Chamisa, this is the right time to wait. Be patient. Watch the space. Read the environment. And the same eye that you have had to create this new political party, keep with the patience. And at the right time, then go to Congress. At the right time, then try to form those structures. Do not listen to Gambakwe's day to day, because Gambakwe, this has been your chorus, that where are the structures? And I think Advocate Nelson Chamisa right now, in fact, you should do not go for a Congress, do not go for those structures, but only at the right time. Only at the right time, when your strategy is ripe, then do it. Because right now there is a whole lot of confusion, which is now being created even in media houses. And I think the man has the eyes on the ball. Advocate Nelson Chamisa has confounded so many. And that man, I think, so far he has shown great wisdom of Solomonic proportions.
Okay. One thing I want to say, Doc, I've got no respect for Chamisa's strategic powers. Chamisa, to me, his biggest weakness, as I said, is failure to strategize, failure to create systems. A system, without a system, you're nothing. That is all I can tell you. You go nowhere, because you are an individual, and an individual is a single point of failure. That is what Chamisa is. He is the weakest link in this whole opposition system. If something happens to Chamisa, the whole opposition is collapsed. I always say this to you. People who really know, they don't have respect for what Chamisa is doing now. Where you fail to create a party, you fail to have a leadership, you don't make decisions, you say one thing today and you say another thing tomorrow. This is where Chamisa is weak. And Chamisa knows this. He does not know what to do. That is the problem. If you look at Chamisa right now and you ask him, yesterday, why didn't you go to White City, to Baba Field Stadium? He doesn't know.
Did he have to
That
go?
is because, that's what I'm saying to you, he doesn't know whether to go or not. He's got no ideological direction. Right now, is just, if you ask Chamisa, what are you going to do with dialogue? He does not know. If you ask him, what are you going to do if the election is proclaimed? Are you going to use the same MPs you used last year? Or he doesn't know. He's got no plan. That is the problem with Chamisa.
Hold on, Gambakwe. I think what you are saying, far from being empirical, far from being something that is substantiated, it's mere posturing, if I should say. It's just mere name calling. I think right now I would say you are just enjoying what I can say a empty attack on Nelson Chamisa.
It's not empty, Doc.
Because
he said he will set up the structure. He did not. I'm not the one who said.
I've already answered you that he never gave a timeline for that. But what am I saying? What I'm saying is that there is no. Before I go to that point, this is new politics that Advocate Nelson Chamisa is putting onto the Zimbabwean body politic, and I know many people are uncomfortable, whether those internal or even external. Everyone is uncomfortable. They don't know. He's keeping his cards right to his chest, so they do not know when he will play the joker. That's why we have you, Gambakwe, even saying this, because you want him to quickly release his joker. Advocate Nelson Chamisa, do not release that joker. Keep it on your chest. 1, 2. The new kind of politics is led by thought leaders, people who have got the political thought of the dynamics of the new politics and how to defeat an authoritarianism such as that which we have in Zimbabwe. And obviously, many people and many media houses, including you, Gambakwe, are failing to understand what is he up to. But so far, he doesn't need to change a winning strategy, because this strategy that he is using is what won him the 18 seats out of the 29 at the recent by-election. And therefore, for me, I do not have any problem with that. Thirdly, I think Advocate Nelson Chamisa has become a topical issue as if he is the official opposition. He is not. Go to Douglas Monzora. He's the official opposition guy.
Doc. We're talking about citizen at the center.
Enthroned by the judiciary and in support of ZANU-PF. That is the official opposition. Go and talk to him. Let's hear his strategy that he will bring, at least try to bring us 1,000 people to his rally. Advocate Nelson Chamisa, unfortunately, is not the citizen alone. It is the citizens who are identifying him as their leader. Biblically, let me tell you, let me just take you into the biblical world. Recently, we have seen some fake pastors making some comedy out of themselves. But let me get you into the Bible. During the times of Moses, it was the charisma of Moses that made the people even rally around him, despite the opposition which he got even from those people who were around him. People like Aaron, at one point they did not believe in what he was doing, but God at every moment will show his power, that he was with Moses. And at one point the earth opened. For those who are biblical pundits, they would know that some people were eaten by the earth because they had gone against God-ordained leaders. You take it to Joshua. During Joshua's time, who was left by Moses, which today I can compare it to Morgan Trangirai leaving it with Nelson Chamisa. We saw that that even though there was opposition to Joshua's leadership, but Joshua was the one who was to lead the people of Israel into the land of promise. So for Nelson Chamisa, whatever is happening, I think it has already shown that no, he is the he is the God-ordained leader. Though I do not want to bring into my analysis, divine, the divine, leadership as that which we saw in France in previous years, because we are a democratic country. I think at this right time, Nelson Chamisa is the right foot forward, which, even if people can say this or can say that, we know what everyone wants to do. It is because those are jealous people who want to see Nelson Chamisa failing. But Nelson Chamisa, ever since he decided to be quiet, ever since he decided to stop answering to his critics the way the critics wanted, so that he can play into their hands, I think that's the day he got the right strategy. And today, no matter what, Gambakwe, you can say structures, you can say a system, you can say whatever, but for me, Advocate Nelson Chamisa has no reason whatsoever to change a winning strategy, which so far he has used. As long as you can tell me empirically that what he is doing is really making the CCC to suffer, then I can believe you. But as long as that it is mere foul-mouthing of Nelson Chamisa, mere posturing from you, or mere, saying of words which do not even are based on the real truth, I don't think that we should follow that. Chamisa's CCC.
Okay, I think I don't know if it's me, but Doc.
Gambakwe, you seem to have been kicked out there, or is it me that is kicked out? But while you are trying to find yourself there, I think Gambakwe, in our talk, let me just conclude probably by saying, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, I think he has struck the right vein, the right chord, and it is not going down well with those that he had strategized before to take him out of the politics of Zimbabwe. And the Mukomana Rukshaisa vanhu hope. That's what I can say. Mukomana Shaisa vanhu hope, and you should have listened to his independence message, presidential, and you can tell that he is groomed for office. I mean, by mere body language specialists will tell you that the young man is on the right road.
Okay, Doc, I'm very sorry. I've lost the network quite a number of times. And as I said, let's wrap this up. Let's see where the citizen at the center is going to suddenly emerge. There is no citizen here in CCC. It's all Chamisa and himself. I've talked to a lot of leaders in the CCC. They are totally disappointed with what's happening right now. The lack of direction, the lack of strategy, the lack of planning, the lack of an ideology. And this is going to be a serious crash. You will see this. I bet you the CCC is going to be one of those failed projects that you will not understand what happened.
No, but Gambakwe, I need to hold you there, because when you jump onto the CCC, Nelson Chamisa, and say it's Nelson Chamisa in the center and not the citizen, but we have seen even in Mashingo. I want to give you this one example. You remember the Mashingo incident where there were two candidates in one of the local councils there, and at a rally. I think I liked the approach that Advocate Nelson Chamisa took, because he realized that here are both two CCC people purporting to represent the CCC. And you know what he did? Like I told you, in pure and Solomonic a wisdom. He said, okay, both of you go to the election. You, the people, choose who you want. The CCC won there, and the best person who was preferred by the citizens won. And I think that was, though it's small, it was the marked behavior of a leader, for which I think it's not, as you say, Chamisa at the center is the leadership, right? Coming to that, you are here posturing that the CCC does not have an ideology. I would ask you today, what is ZANU-PF's ideology? In fact, if you look at ZANU-PF, let me take you back into some little history, 1 minute. It was under the leadership of President Mugabe, ZANU-PF postured as a socialist Leninist party. In other words, they were going to follow socialism, which they said Gutsaro Shinji. But no sooner had they gotten into power did they start to pursue mostly policies that mixed socialism and capitalism. And by 2000, they went full scale into capitalism, which was far away from what they proclaimed themselves as socialists. We saw the introduction of ESAP, the Economic Structural Adjustment Program, and that was a flip-flopping of their policy. But 2000, no, basically 1990, I wanted to say 1990, they shifted from socialism into capitalism full scale. But 2000 was even worse. 2000 was worse because ZANU-PF became so inconsistent with policies. That's where we saw capitalistic policies being implemented, and we saw the command kind of approach to running the economy and to running the affairs of the state itself became so mixed. Today, even under the policies of Mutili and what the president is trying to say, open for business and this and that, you can see a total lack of ideology there. In fact, if we were to talk about ideology, lack of it, it exists more in the ruling party today because they do not have one. All they do is they grope in the dark, and they try to piece up mantras which they bring to us as ideology. As far as I know, the CCC is a social democratic party in which they are seeking a consensus on a path to follow. And I think ideologically they are more thrust than ZANU-PF. So don't even go there into the issue of ideology, because ZANU-PF is directionless, ideologyless today than the CCC that is still building a proper campus to take Zimbabwe into the future.
Okay, Doc, I think we've covered portions of what I wanted to get answered. But you know what? I think you are shying away from the important questions. However, let's break it down. I know Chamisa, what he does is when he gets the inspiration, one day he will try to deal with these issues. Because the questions that I'm asking you, they're not trivial issues. There's no political party on earth that does not have a leadership structure. There's no political party on earth that has got all the old rejects from Tsvangirai party in one party and fighting, and the leaders sitting there not knowing what to do. There's no political party on earth that does not have a constitution, that does not have structures on the ground that will win elections. And this is a year before the election. This is chaos. And I want us to bring this to an end, Doc. Please, your last word.
No, but you can't get away with Meda Gambakwe. You are telling me that there is no political party without a structure. There's no political party that can win with the whole trash from the MDC alliance. But they just won an election without those structures you are talking about. They just bashed ZANU-PF and their own little surrogate in Monzora. They just whitewashed them. And so I wonder what you are talking about then. Because if we were to follow the logic, it is that so-called structureless party, as you put it, that so-called party without any grassroots, structures, as you are saying, why did it win this election? It is because the majority of you people have been overtaken by events. You don't realize the new politics that is about to be introduced, that is amongst us. You only realize it once the biggest thing which is about to happen in 23 happens. And it will be
okay,
said,
Doc. I'm sorry, Doc.
We told you so. We will tell you that we told you so. We told you so.
Okay, Doc, I want us to wrap this up. It's exactly 2200. The electricity is coming now. So what is going to happen is when the electricity comes out, my solar is going to split and we're going to lose network. Let's wrap this up. Let's agree to come back next week. And as I said, I want us to explore these topics until Chamisa makes a decision. I know that it takes a long time to make a decision. Let's explore this the same way we explored the name issue. I was right on the name issue. I'm going to be right again on this issue of lack of order, lack of structure, lack of a constitution, lack of grassroots structures. I'm going to be proved right.
But Gambagwe, listen. On that note, also, I want to snatch that so-called victory of yours from you, because this is something we know will happen. On the name issue, it's because just people were confused as to what will be his next move. Even those who were saying change the name were bluffing. It's like they were daring him to say, without the MDC, you will be nothing. He dared to change the name. And there he is. Right now, we know the next move would be to form structures. Probably your contention is, when would they be? You are from the school of thought which thinks that those structures should be there now. But there is a school of thought also out there which says, not now, at the right time. And
okay, let's end it there, Doctor.
Let me finalize. Both these schools of thought are agreeable that at some point, this political party will have structures. But probably everyone is wondering, in fact, those calling for those structures, they want to know who is in those structures. They want to know because there is going to be a surprise, a huge surprise. I mean, from what we can read, from what we can see, there is going to be a huge surprise. So, please, savor the moments, wait until the dish is dished when CCC will announce its structures. And I know at the right time, it will shock those who did not expect what we are saying. But for some of us, it will be a confirmation that there is a big strategy behind the CCC.
Thank you very much, Doc, and good night.
Good night, Gambakwe.
Uyo uko kuno apo pano mamuona kere nai anno pura meso anno pura nzebe anno kaya marigi Kama
kwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa paninyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com. Kamba kwe vanogaya mari, vanotara mari, vanosiya mari. Kamba kwe vanotara fea kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei. Vanhu muterere zvikubatsirei, mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Kamba kwe vanogaya cash, vanopa mafacts, vanotara straight, vane evidence, vane confidence plus intelligence plus intelligence.
Entertainment, current affairs and news. Kamba kwe don't come. Usasarire, kamba kwe anukaya mari. Mari.